Welcome back to Spot Goes to Hollywood, and we're in the final page. So, post-nuclear.
Post-nuclear.
That's right, Theo. We're gonna go to. That's right, Theo. We're gonna go edgy on this shit.
Yeah, look at that funny text which says post-nuclear. Seriously, what the hell?
Oh, haha, Terminator reference, cute.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, Joey, I don't know if you noticed the drawing on that's the symbol of the stage, but the Spot was clearly drawn.
He's doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger pose from Terminator 2's cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seriously, at this point, Spot could do a references battle with Gex.
Well, the game is called Spot Goes to Hollywood for a reason.
Yeah. Also, Jova, yes and no. Gex is way more talkative, and his references are more in his
the reference
and puns.
the fan service in this game is more visual. Like oh, look at that! We're walking on the set of insert movie here. That's literally
exactly
just
my point. That's exactly my point. He could get into a references battle with Gex. One does it for visuals, the other through his big mouth.
And there you go.
What the hell?
There you go. A Spot Terminator.
A Spot Terminator.
Okay,
and of course, it's very hard to kill.
No, actually, it cannot be killed. You can only slow it down.
Oh my! It really is like a Terminator. Can be bargained with. Can be reasoned with.
Yeah.
You can't reason. You can bargain with it, too. You can't reason with it. It doesn't know pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever to until I am dead.
Dang. Okay, I can say I was not expecting this.
There you go. Well, remember, Joe, think of it like this, Joe. It's basically the developers were all like, okay, so what new levels can we make for this sequel? And somebody in the team had an idea. How about we just make, levels inspired by some of our favorite movies? And the other guy's like, yeah, sure, why not?
I mean,
because
it's
the
not
same people behind this game, I believe.
Well, not this one. The first one. Remember, Jova?
The first one.
Yeah.
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 You have later on. We're gonna have a Tron level as well, as you'll see.
Oh wow.
We're also gonna have an Alien level. Yeah.
Oh, good, and just like the Terminator, he's constantly chasing us. Although, thankfully, he's moving slower than the Terminator.
Of course, Jova. He will not stop, ever. You already know the shtick. So yeah, basically, let's try and find the exit, I guess. Also, this
While
music.
escaping the Terminator.
Tommy, there you go, Taylor. What do you think of Tommy's serious business music?
I mean, it's also close enough to the Terminator theme, which he did compose for the Genesis game. So yeah.
Well, actually, no. Well, actually, too. Tommy only composed for the Sega CD game. Remember, David and his team only worked on the Sega CD game.
Okay.
It was Probe Entertainment that worked on the Mega Drive version.
Okay.
Because basically, David and his team preferred to work on the Sega CD platform, as demonstrated by Earthworm Jim Special Edition, which is why Virgin got Pro to do that version.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Alright. For the record, Shiro, Probe Entertainment is a British developer. So it's actually one of those Mega Drive games that actually runs better in 50 Hz rather than 60 Hz, because if you play it on the NTSC refresh rate, the music will sound way too fast. So, kind of like the Pinocchio Mega Drive game, which was made by Virgin London. Fortunately, again, that was always the annoying thing with video games back in the day. When a video game was made in Europe, it always had that thing where Americans were forced to play the game in super speed. So,
Thanks, Germany.
Yeah, thanks, Germany.
All because of Germany.
For those who are not familiar with it, basically the PAL refresh rate, where it's 10 Hz slower than America's NTSC refresh rate.
50 compared to 60.
Yeah, it was actually come up with a guy in Germany who... I don't even remember what was his reasoning. I'll have to look it up.
I think it was for electrical discharge, because one thing that you have to remember is that this is not... Obviously, for America it's more easy, but for European countries... If you want to go to another European country, you better know where to get an adapter for electrical wires of all kind, because the plugs and the sockets are completely different in each country, like a gajillion different of them. And I suspect that it was because of that that those type of televisions were made, at least for back in the day, because it would have been easier to be adapted to that kind of electrical discharge. It's also tied to how much the actual electrical discharge is done through the cable and everything. But I'm not an electrician, so I don't know all the details and stats. But that's my best guess, if I have to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of like...
Makes no sense why you would have all these different
also just
electrical
noticing those tiny
It's,
robots are similar to the one in Star Wars.
I'm not a specialist either, Jova, but that's the thing, Jova. I think it's really because both territories, Europe and America, just did things separately, independently, and without consulting each other, and as a result, we got this, basically.
I mean, I can understand if maybe it's different from Europe to America, but I would have suspected...
But different from every country in Europe,
but at least
weird.
Similar to... Well, in a more basic situation similar to the Euro, at least most of countries will adapt a common type of, plug and socket. But apparently no. I'm suspecting, honestly, because... they started already doing it as soon as electricity was implemented, into the world. Each country decided to kind of sort of do its own thing for different reasons, because they wanted to be separated, or they were separated for, political war reasons. And thus, we would have a situation where like a gajillion type of buildings that will have to change all of that at once, and will be too costly and too time consuming right now to do this kind of thing. So I'm suspecting this is the reason why they never tried to unify that system. But still, it's kind of a waste. I mean, nowadays it's not anymore a problem because of voltage dosage that each country has, and the fact that now all televisions work perfectly at potential 60 frames. Sure, there may be some minimal difference for other things, including watching just programs, but for the purpose of video games alone, we're perfectly fine now, covered. But still, it did create this problem, at least until the end of the PS2 era. It's mind-boggling.
So I guess if I ever take a trip to Europe, I have to remember to bring all these different plug adapters.
Well, to give you an idea, Jova, I kind of have to do it each time I want to go to the UK. That's as simple as that.
Dang.
For example, Jova, my NVIDIA Shield, it actually has, by default, its socket is American, but it also comes with an adapter for European sockets. So, Space Battle.
Whoa.
So what's next?
So we really are going to space.
Isn't that like the most creative name for a level too? Space Battle.
Clearly.
All right,
no, it's Battletoads all over again.
Don't worry, Teo.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, Teo. This is actually playable.
You're familiar with Battletoads, Shiroi.
Well, remember, Jova, there's a new one coming even, so...
Well, yeah, but, you'd have to be familiar to say, oh no, like that.
Well, remember, Jova, Battletoads is infamous anyway,
it's infamous, so yeah, I can see that.
And it was made by a British developer.
Yeah, rare. They used to be the cream of the cup of British developers, so...
We tend to go south pretty quickly around here.
Well, what about Media Molecule? Media Molecule is still great. They just made Dreams, which is regarded as a truly...
It's modding heaven.
Yeah, like fan game makers all over the world fucking adore that game. It's basically a game made for them, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I guess Media Molecule is like the exception to the rule.
Again, it's basically the ultimate evolution of the work they started in Little Big Planet. First we have a side-scrolling platformer where you can make your own levels, but okay, let's go all crazy with this concept. Let's just make the ultimate fan game maker.
They're just completely rolling with what they know.
Alright, so basically this level is very simple. Just dodge the obstacles and kill the keep shooting the one same spaceship that keeps respawning.
Kid, that was 1 in a million.
Yeah, they look like, I keep forgetting the name.
TIE fighters.
TIE fighters,
yeah. It's weird because in Italian does we call him, hunting ships.
Cool mongus.
You're just gonna add cool to everything, aren't you?
Yes. It's a 90s hero. It needs to be.
Alright, and now the space station.
where
Now we're
Spawn is
probably going
tripping
to
on something.
Let's see.
Yeah, okay, now this is Alien.
This is not the spaceship to Alien. We swear. We swear. It's not Alien. We swear.
Well,
We don't
thank
know what you're
goodness-
talking about.
Thank goodness it has less H.R. Geiger's phallic symbolism here. Why is there a puppy? Oh, it's a collectible.
Yes, puppies are collectibles in this game too. They give you points.
Of course.
Of course.
Need to collect all the good boys.
Don't worry, Teo. They will not splutter and smush on the ground.
Which will corrode the ground until it reaches the bottom. Oh, there it is. There's the acid. Jeez.
You think that's blatant, Teo? Wait till you meet the other primary enemy of this level.
I mean, if it's like a xenomorph, I wouldn't be too surprised because comes the Sega Saturn era, and the main kind of enemies of at least the first couple of Sakura Wars games, the Coma.
Oh, no, I don't think I've explained this power up.
Go
Basically,
on, I'll say later.
the sneakers playthrough allows you to jump super high. That's the basic gist of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Huh. Nice change of pace. Normally, sneaker power-ups either allow you to sneak around
Or to, you know,
Go
run
fast.
right faster, yeah.
Well,
Whoa.
it doesn't really make sense to have a speed up power up in this game because this game is much more about exploration rather than going through
This
the
is
level.
this is not Sonic Labyrinth after all.
It's actually interesting too because this is actually one of those games that we're talking about because this game was made by Eurocom and as a result it works better with the 50 hertz.
Wait,
So-
this is me. Oh, Eurocom, the same guy
Well,
who made
as
Crash
as the
Bash.
well
Crash
as
Bash.
as the name implies, they're an European developer.
But, well, Joe,
I
but
don't
that's
really
the
hear
thing.
from them most nowadays.
There's the thing.
They're
Joe,
gone. They're
they-
gone now at this point.
Yeah, but back in the day, they did indeed a gajillion different things altogether. They specialize in so many different things. But yeah, what I was saying is the main enemies of the Sakura Wars games, the Coma, are pretty much xenomorphs. They really look like xenomorphs.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh,
Oh, Joe,
Sakura-
you played Project Cross Zone 2. You should know what they look
Oh,
like.
that's right, yeah. I'll admit, when I first saw Sakura Wars, Xenomorphs was not the first thing I imagined being in there.
It would have been Sega would actually.
Oh, there we go. Oh, God, it's a face
Holy
hugger.
fuck!
And it's hugging our face.
It still looks. It
And now
still
Spot-
looks like a bullseye.
And now Spot is pregnant.
I'm sorry,
Let's
kid.
let's
Did you-
not go fanfiction on.
Kid.
So,
Uh,
that's the
uh,
problem,
actually,
Shiro, that's
should I-
exactly what
should I
happens
tell
in the
her?
Alien franchise.
Basically, Shiroi, what happens in Alien 1 is that an alien impregnates a human being, and then we see the alien bursting out of the lady's uterus.
Basically, Shiroi,
Are you
here's how
sure
it
this
goes.
isn't some hentai you're talking
Oh,
Shiro
there
is.
we go.
There we are.
Could you get any more blatant, guys?
Basically, Shiro, the creator of the designer of the series, at least at the cornerstone of it, H.R. Geiger, is like an artist and a sculptor, which is specialized for. Well, I think it passed away, unfortunately, but specialized in doing grotesque, eldritch, things. That have a
Phallic
lot of,
symbols.
yeah, but have a lot of phallic symbolism to them.
In that
No
case, he
lie.
was good at his job.
Yeah,
Hey,
but anyway, I'm
basically-
checking. Yeah, go on, drop it.
Basically, Shiroi, here's how it goes. You got your Jaeger xenomorphs, but the things to watch out for the most are the face huggers. They're basically these spider-like things with long tails. Basically, once they latch onto your face, they die. So you think that's just fine. No, because sooner or later you're going to be feeling a terrible feeling in your chest. And let's just say, unless you have a very good vacuum pump of sorts, there's a baby coming out of you.
Yeah.
Violently, mind you.
It's not to mention Shiroi when it comes to the whole anti thing. No, remember that's Compile Heart's Dragon Star Varner that does that.
Apparently.
Remember Jova, one of Compile Heart's new games is Dragon Star Varner. As Till already said, it's basically about these witches who get impregnated and have to give birth to dragons.
And
And
but
yet,
that's the thing.
from what I've heard,
yeah,
it's
right now the
apparently
game
a
is coming in
good game.
Japan.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
yeah,
it's supposed to come out
that's a set. No, it's already out too on PS4.
even in the West.
Yes, it's
Okay.
and remember too. I've shown you even the reviews. Even the Western critics anonymously agree that it's Compile Heart's best game yet.
Like, You know, from the premise alone, you think it's going to sound like usual Japanese schlock fest, but no, it's actually pretty
It's the
good.
it's the highest it's the most critically acclaimed compile heart game ever, because remember, the critics have always given bad grades for the most part to the Neptunia games, but Dragonstar Varner, of all games too, is the one that finally shut up the critics.
I mean, I'm not sure if I should be too surprised, because removing the gross out part, which obviously I still need to know more about how he's treated actually in game. The actual premise of the game, having this sort of not dystopic, but this oppressing world where we're trapped in this never-ending cycle of witches and dragons that, in order to bring stability to the world, needs to do these horrible sacrifices, wouldn't be too bad, again, as a premise. So I guess I'll really need to see
Well,
for myself.
apparently it works too, because that's the primary thing that the critics are praising, the story and the characters. Not so much
Again,
the gameplay. The gameplay is just, they usually go from...
It's more of the same, I
s-
guess.
More of the same stuff you usually see from Compile Heart. It has some things of its own, but for the most part is, once again, Compile Heart just making the same generic PS2 tier type of game with graphics that look like they belong on the Wii. And of course, most of the cutscenes are visual novel stuff. Of course.
Nothing wrong
But
with-
anyway, Jova, I was checking here the Eurocom library. If you don't remember, we're also the guys who made Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy originally for GameCube, PS2, and Xbox back in 2003.
yes, that game's recently gotten a remaster and
Thanks to
portals.
so in a Sonic Mania kind of vibe, in a sense, that THQ Nordic basically hired a fan who was doing essentially an upscaling work on his own, and they just said, "Yeah, sure, just do the Steam version for us, and we'll pay you." But yeah,
Talk about
they
the Steam
were
version
mostly-
of what? Sorry.
Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy.
Oh,
I
okay,
recommend
sorry.
to you. Nitro Red did a review of it. I should suggest you to look at that. But no, Eurocom were mostly famous for license game and some minor ports here
Which
and
this
there.
one,
Like,
which this one technically is.
yeah, like for example, Mortal Kombat Gold on the Dreamcast. But their last major game was unfortunately 007 Legends on PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U, and PC on 2012. Then
One
they
fa-
closed down.
One compliment that I like to why? Well, one compliment that I'd like to give this game is that this game has one thing that's way ahead of its time: a dynamic HUD. You'll notice that the health bar only shows up when it's necessary, when you get hurt or when you get a healing item. Same
It is
thing.
quite ahead of its time.
Same thing for spots, because back then on the Mega Drive, do you even know of any other games that had a dynamic HUD? I can think of one.
God, I think there's one or two, but I can't recall their names. But yeah, definitely not a bang. And
Not that I
yeah, here
remember.
we are.
I don't remember any.
So yeah, now we're in
Oh,
Tron.
wait. I know what this is. This is Kingdom Hearts.
No, it's actually Tron.
That's the joke.
Well, I
You
don't know.
suck, Majova.
Well,
If Disney buys any more, all of this is Kingdom Hearts.
well, actually, sure, Troy was always Disney, so. The original Tron, the original Tron
Yeah.
was a Disney movie. It's always been a Disney property.
It was in the sort of experimental phase where Disney was trying to do something weird with their live action movies, like the Black Hole. Seriously, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, that was a weird one.
Disney has
Yeah.
always
What
been
was
very
the black
iffy
hole
with live
exactly
action
about,
stuff.
aside from the damn black hole.
But I did remember enjoying their first adaptation, the live action one of Treasure Island, but it's been a while since I watched it.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. No, I actually do remember that one. I prefer Treasure Planet personally when it
Well,
comes.
obviously, the more recent adaptations are technically better.
Well,
It's still,
It's different too. Like the live action one is a straightforward adaptation, whereas Treasure Planet is a sci-fi version of the story.
true.
Yeah.
So
also
it depends on whether you like. If you want like a.
There's also
Sorry, go ahead.
There's also one sort of realization that I had because I had to watch, thanks to my grandparents, a lot of 50s and 60s movies, and those don't in that era have some elements that don't, haven't aged well. Not in the sense that they're controversial or anything, more like they show their age. That's literally it, unfortunately, where more movies done by the 70s onward managed to stay more timeless in that kind of sense.
By the way,
It's
one
a bit
thing
weird
that
to describe, but
one
go on.
thing that you need to know when playing this level is when you press the jump button, or rather, the A button, which is that one that accelerating button that I'm making. Basically, it allows you to jump in ramps, and this will become needed to complete the level later on. As for the whole Kingdom Hearts thing, well, actually, Jova, all of the actors from the original Tron movie did actually reprise their roles in Kingdom Hearts 2 world.
Not the one who
Which
did
one?
Sark, because it was replaced by Corey
okay.
Burton. I know
okay.
for a fact that because I did ask to my friends who did the
Tron.
playthrough of that back then.
It's
and he wasn't a fan.
I'm guessing the actor had already died by that point.
Or was too old. I forgot which specific reason was, but I did check, and it's the same for the MCP, the Master Control Program. But yeah, remember, Jove, it was thanks to Kingdom Hearts 2 that fans of the fan base of Tron became, reinvigorated, and Disney invaded Tron Legacy as a result. But it was supposed to make Tron 3, but thanks to Tomorrowland, that's gone, and I'm pretty sure we'll never see it again.
Honestly, I didn't care much for Legacy, honestly, so I'm not that hung up
I haven't
over it.
really heard many good things about Legacy.
It's not as good as the first one in terms of surprising the viewer. It's there, but I wouldn't want the franchise to be dead as a result of that. That's what I mean. I think Tron has the potential for seeing different things.
From what I hear, Tron Legacy is one of those kinds of acquired tastes where the thing is like, well, if you're a fan of the series already, you would definitely like it. If you were new to the series, it would be a bit weird. What I do hear, though, is that everybody agreed that it at least seemed to speak of some promise of better things to come in the sequel, especially since, from what I hear, it ends up on a cliffhanger.
I don't remember that.
Me neither, honestly.
What wouldn't surprise me, though, figures. There are a few things more infuriating than a company that blatantly ends something on a cliffhanger, only for it to pretty much screw over the fan base and cancel the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Pedro, a question about the level. Am my eyes deceived because of the level layout, or do some of the ramps, rise up as you're going through them?
No.
Okay.
The eyes must be playing tricks on you.
It's level geometry. These fucking lines. It's trippy.
Yeah, these are a nightmare.
I'm sure you're having the fun of your life, Shiro.
I am.
It's Tron. It's supposed to be trippy.
True, but I think the difference major there was with Tron, you only got basic lines in a sense to define it. Here you have the entire floor covered in this square pattern, and I think that's was and the camera angle obviously also isn't helping. With Tron, you have these contrast, this Frank Miller style contrast of these few neon lights on these shadow black backgrounds imposing over you, and sometimes some glowing objects. But that's pretty much it. This reminds me instead of that Trios of Horror Simpsons episode where Homer becomes a 3D object. It reminds me of the floor of that.
Honestly, Tail, if this was by Frank Miller, Spot would be having incredibly stupid and way melodramatic narration.
Hold on.
Old school. We were talking about Terminator before. It's more similar to Robocop versus Terminator. Also, what the fuck?
Okay, that escalated all of a sudden. A cybernetic spider.
Yes, boss battle.
It's
okay.
I don't see how.
I'm gonna love you needed to take a leap of faith.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe, but we couldn't really pay royalties for the MCP, so.
Fair enough, yeah, but it just seems so random.
Sure. Well, remember, Joe, but this game has always been kind of like that with the randomness stuff. Remember,
it's the Genesis. It's also the Genesis thing, Jova. In this kind of era, sometimes weird, random-ass bosses were kind of the norm. I mean, Sega decided to make an entire game based on that concept with Gunstar Heroes. So.
Well, don't get me wrong. I know all about the randomness factor. That doesn't change the fact that it's random as fudge.
Alright, let's try that again. Well, I know that, didn't at the very least Tron's actor reprise his role? I know that, I think that at the very least, yeah. Okay.
I forgot who specifically is, but yes, he is the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's also well again.
I'm
it's
actually
also
surprised. I don't remember. Did Jeff Bridges reprise his role in 3D? I forgot.
Oh, I'm gonna check IMDb. Well, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if he
Because I do
considering 3D was more of a budget, you know.
I do remember him sounding. If not, they got a really great sound alike. Because I do remember him sounding just right. Anyway,
The worst offender is Kingdom Hearts 3, where a lot of the voice actors are sound alike. So.
Mm-hmm.
Almost done.
Ah, crap.
Get it?
Oh,
You're
of
fighting
course
against a computer bug.
Funny.
There you go, Joe. But there's your the connection.
It's still random, damn it.
All right. Why? What the hell does that even mean? Whatever. Moving on. Well done. You have completed the film.
Oh, I guess that
Not.
was the final boss. Oh.
Oh,
Complex. Final level.
Oh, final level.
Yes.
I don't like the sound of this one.
Are you feeling
Okay,
complex
okay,
today?
guys. I get it. You have a boner for Alien. But can we please move on now?
Wow. Huh. So this is really going to be the final confrontation,
We
Alien.
really wanted another Alien level, Jova. We really needed one bad for some reason.
I guess.
They just love Alien that much.
It's kind of like Echo the Dolphin. Now we're in Welcome to the Machine.
Why was it called that?
It's a reference to an actual song. I don't know why, but
I know, that's why I'm asking.
I
It's
guess,
so
I guess,
random.
I guess the team was listening to it. Was like, nah, we need to name this level, but I don't know what to do with that.
They were
I just call
getting
it
high
like
while
this.
listening to that and just thought.
She right.
"Fuck it."
The Echo to the Dolphin series is about a dolphin fighting aliens. I'm pretty sure being
Also
high...
going back in time. Don't forget that part.
Well, yeah, that's the second
And
game.
aliens, and a DNA. Well, no. Actually, Pedro, time travel is involved in the first Echo the Dolphin, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true, yeah. But it's more of a focus in the second one.
Yeah, that too.
Let's also not forget
Also,
a DNA
sky
strand.
tides, because that works.
Oh, sky tides.
Anyway, Pedro, I checked. No, the character that Jeff Bridges is supposed to, play,
okay.
Kevin Flynn, is voiced instead by Fred Tatasciore.
Ah, okay.
Doesn't surprise me there.
Sam Sam is voiced by Ross. What is it called? Ross
There you go.
Thomas.
Let's try to destroy the Alien Queen.
Instead of holy shit, it looks also like a bit the Queen's luck for a butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All it's
Jeez.
missing is the legs for when she detaches herself.
Basically, just try your best to keep jumping and shooting while at the same time avoiding her eggs and her little children. It's not that tough of a boss.
It's kind of like the final boss of that Alien vs Predator Game Boy video game that Dark Lord Shadow review, where the Queen is so easy to kill at the end.
I love how this queen is sporting a massive grin.
Ew.
And there you go. The film is now complete, and now we're ready to show it.
This is gonna be one heck of a film.
That's a long ass limousine.
Complete with pirates, Terminators, ninjas,
We didn't.
and
we di-
aliens.
don't you see, Jova? We didn't know which movie to make, so we just made all of them.
So we
it's
have
epic
something for
movie.
everyone.
So it's epic movie then.
Ew.
Press.
Which one? The parody movie or the animated film epic?
Oh god, I don't know which is worse. But yeah, the parody one.
Honestly, I remember. Granted, I haven't seen it in years. I remember Epic just being bland, not so much terrible. Like Epic had the potential to be a really cool movie, but it was just so fucking bland.
Sorry, I was checking out instead of the game. What you're talking about?
The animated film Epic. It's made. I forgot who made it. It was
Is that one of the Ralph Bakshi movies?
No. It's a CGI film too. I think it was made by Illumination. Was it?
Oh god, I'm not quite.
2013.
Who actually enjoyed
Wait.
No, judging
it
by
was
the
made by
poster,
Blue
no, I
Sky.
never seen this.
I believe it was made by Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue
actually.
Sky.
That's it,
20th Century
Blue Sky.
Fox.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But at least it was something else other than Rio or Ice Age.
basically, well, hey, Rio was good.
And
No, what I mean in terms of difference in stagnation.
I prefer Ferdinand
okay.
over Rio. Project management who Bins and Tim Rogers. Yeah, that's such a British name, Tim Rogers.
Yeah, it is.
Watson turned out to be
Nick
American.
Nick Fleming. All these
Did you
super
discover penicillin?
These are such British names. Anyway, yeah, that was Spot Goes to Hollywood, and that's basically it. So basically, yeah, different developer, therefore different type music and sound. Yeah, Tommy Torrico, there you go. So yeah, I enjoyed the game. It's fun. It's a pretty okay sequel, I think, and it's actually, I actually think it's more memorable because of the creative way it uses the film tropes. And it's a different developer, different style, and it helps make it separate. But at the same time, despite being an isometric perspective and having different style when it comes to level tropes,
There you go, Dave Perry.
yeah, he was a consultant. Yeah, but it still has the same basic concept of collecting spots to open up the exit like in the original, so it's still technically faithful to the original game. So there's that. It's a good example of how you can take a sequel in a different direction while still staying faithful to what the original game was. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting sequel on the Mega Drive. It's actually one of the last major Mega Drive games. It came out in 1995. So
Wow.
This game actually did get ported to the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1. However, the port is made by a different developer, and it's fine, but I prefer this one.
I mean,
honestly.
this is one of those games that I think is nice, but doesn't feel quite big enough to port to the next generation of consoles. Well, I mean, okay. Maybe now in this time and age, I'd be all for with stuff like an eShop
I mean,
and everything.
remember, Jova, just recently we got news where we're getting a compilation port of The Lion King and
and the Mega Drive
Aladdin game
and the
done
Mega Drive
by
Aladdin
the team-
game.
by David Perry's team for
Oh,
some
also
reason.
the Game Boy Aladdin game
The
too.
compilation, but mostly centered around those two. Those two.
My only problem,
So who knows?
my only major problem is that it's being made by Digital Eclipse, who I don't particularly
which I'm
trust
guessing
all
are
that much.
not that good.
Well, they're usually fine, but I would prefer if M2 was working on them because they're the masters of Mega Drive emulation. But whatever. Yeah, Tommy Tallarico's music is, of course, brilliant. Well, it's one of the best Mega Drive soundtracks ever. Like, seriously, the music in this game is so fucking brilliant, and it's by far the game's biggest achievement. So yeah, if you want, you can go to Zophar's music archive. If you don't know Zophar.net, check it. It's a really good archive video game website, and you can get the soundtrack there from someone who ripped the game properly with the right refresh rate and everything. So you can, but yeah. It's a pretty good game, and it has fantastic graphics as well, like the original. So, and great sprite animation. So yeah, good job on the sequel too. What do you think of the game?
I'm pretty on you. When it comes to the same as you, when it comes to the opinion. As a sequel, it's fine, and honestly, considering the source material, it's so scarce, you can take Spot and do whatever you want with it. And this game pretty much is a testament to that. As long as you have an idea and you know how to realize, you can just pick Spot, boop, and insert there, and you should be fine. And I guess it does the job. Interesting that it doesn't promote that much 7-Up as much as in the first game, but I can live with either options. I guess it can be viewed as this. The first game is if you want the publicity to 7-Up. The second one, if you just want to enjoy a more enjoyable game for an experience. But overall, I think I found both of them on equal ground when it comes to enjoyability, at least for me, if I ever would want to play them.
Okay,
That's it.
Shirai.
This was a lot of fun, actually, more so than the first game, which was, I mean, it was still fun, but it was quite repetitive for what it was.
This game has the advantage that it doesn't reuse level tropes completely.
That too.
Yeah.
This one kind of just threw everything in the blender. Not even in a bad way, though. This was fun. The music is great.
Well, yeah. Considering who made it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Sure. What about you, Tay? What do you think of Tommy's brilliant soundtrack? for
Yeah,
this
yeah,
game?
I forgot to mention. No, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I guess if I had to compare it to the first game, I would prefer the first slightly more, but it's really just a few spot here. Considering how Tommy, as far as what I'm listening so far, Tommy has a sort of uniform style of, despite composing different things, there is a sort of uniform in style in terms of quality when it comes to composing. There's not really one track that I would call bad composed by him. So the level in general is pretty high on its own. But when it comes to these spot games, I guess I would prefer the first one. But this game also has the advantage of having more tracks, as far as I've listened. So it has also disadvantage of quantity as well.
Sure.
So it's a tie. It's a hard tie, but it's a tie.
All right, Jova, close us off.
Yeah, It's a weird toss-up here. For instance, unlike the first game, you have actual bosses to fight here. So that makes it more engaging for me. The level variety here is definitely a lot better than the first one. Music-wise, it's definitely good, but I'm not quite sure if I'd say this is the more memorable soundtrack, or if the first one is the more memorable soundtrack. I might give the edge to the first one in the soundtrack department. In practically almost everything else, though, I think I'm gonna have to give it to the sequel here. It definitely improves on the problems from the first game. I mean, granted, it has practically a different gameplay style. I mean, yeah, there's some things that are still the same, but there's a lot of changes too. But yeah, this game seems more enjoyable, and I can't believe I'm saying this. This game actually feels like it may have a bit more of a narrative. I mean, don't get me wrong. The first game had that wacky story about that crazy scientist in the manual, but it's only in the manual. Like, can only take you so far. Whereas this actually feels like more of an actual venture. I guess the goal was to make our movie, risking life and limb.
Yeah, but both these games didn't really feel like they needed like this major story. They just majorly created a base story that just gave an excuse for levels, basically.
Admittedly, it may have bugged me a bit more with the original Cool Spot only because that game felt more lacking, but I'm glad to say it's definitely not a problem here because I was fully entertained by all the level themes, different mechanics, and the way that they kept stuff fresh.
You can tell the quote-unquote plot of this sequel is basically just an excuse to throw in levels from Hollywood movies, basically.
Yeah, again, we just wanted to pick what they wanted and pick spot and put it there, and it worked, essentially.
Indeed it did.
Alright, so that was Spot Goes to Hollywood, everybody. And when it comes to the David Perry-related Mega Drive games, that's about all of them that we've done so far, I think. I don't think I'm missing anyone. We've already done the Sega CD Terminator. We've already
I can think now.
No, we've done. I think we've done all of them. I don't. Oh, actually, no. There's one missing. I forgot. There's RoboCop versus Terminator.
Right. We were talking about before, not actually based on Frank Miller comics.
Yes, that game was actually made. The interesting is that it was not made by David Perry's primary team, with Tommy and Nick Brody and all that stuff, but it was supervised by them while being made by younger developers. So that's kind of an interesting way. Like Matt Furness, the composer of the Hulk Mega Drive game, and the Terminator Mega Drive game, did the music for that game. However, the music was produced by Tommy Tallarico. Like, he didn't compose, he was just a sound producer, like Hans Zimmer was a music producer in Beyond Two Souls, without actually composing anything. It was basically David and his team training the young ones, I guess, or something along those lines. So yeah, everybody, I guess tune in for that in the future, I guess, eventually.
See ya.
See ya.